Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I'm going to talk about Kentaro Miura's Berserk Volume 4. Now, as many of you know, I keep taking little breaks between each book. Number one, because they're expensive. Even to get a used copy of these, it's still like $14 a lot of the time. Sometimes you can get a good deal. The digital copies of Berserk might be something I start investing in, even though I don't like digital, because of how cheap they are. I just don't have the room to stock up 42 volumes of Berserk. But this is a really great series. I've really enjoyed these first 4 volumes as somebody who's never read it, never heard anything about it, never experienced. Berserk is super popular, but it's not here in America in the way like Dragon Ball Z was, where it's everywhere, and everybody my age that's a dude knows everything about it. Maybe it's gotten more like that over the years with anime's popularity and rise in America, but still. So, Berserk Volume 4 picks up with the events of Volume 3, obviously, and I did not expect the way this book was going to go. This is going to be kind of a dark review. I'm probably going to not go into spoilers too much. I don't know why I'm not. It seems like manga ties in so closely together. It's not really like a lot of the other stuff I've talked about recently, like Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality, where I kind of went into all the deets about what happened. I wanted to do that, and I've tried to record a couple of times a review for this book and went into some of those things, but I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I think I'm going to keep everything kind of lightly spoiler-free, unless I'm talking about the events of a previous book that this is picking up from. So that's probably going to be the general consensus of what I do from now on. And yeah, I made that announcement in a Volume 4 review. Yeah. Anyway, Berserk Volume 4. Volume 3 ended with Guts being a kid in this big flashback arc that I heard is going to go on for a long time, which I'm kind of excited about. This book covers a lot of ground, but it starts off picking up from when Guts was being attacked in his tent in the middle of the night by that creepy, weird, bald-headed, muscular, but short and fat and stumpy dude that was clearly coming in either to kill him in the middle of the night or rape him. And to kind of give you a straight up, just tell you what happened type of thing for the beginning of this book in the first 5 pages, Guts being a little boy, he cannot overpower this guy, he doesn't have a weapon nearby, and that guy messes with him psychologically and says, hey, the big boss sold you out to me, and he rapes Guts. Dude, I was reading this on a trip to Tennessee for a honeymoon, and I was in the car, in the passenger seat reading this on my... I had just finished up driving, and this was the part I wanted to read, or the book I wanted to read, on the half that I didn't have to drive to Tennessee. And dude, I was so mortified and so shocked by what happened here. The whole book is kind of like that, but that opening was not what I thought it was going to be. I knew Berserk was going to be dark. I knew that it's something that emotionally really gets people engaged, and I knew that. But Volume 1 through 3 was really great. It didn't do that to me emotionally, right? Aside from maybe a tidbit here and there, like the Princess in the Tower situation. But this book, with that opening, I was kind of shocked. And the pictures, dude, the drawings of what happened there, they were explicit, but there was 2 frames of what happened to Guts, and I am just dumbfounded by it. I still can't get those images out of my head. And I heard that's also a very common thing with Berserk as a series. But the art is amazing, as per always, with Kentaro Miura. He's a very, very talented man. But this book highlights how as soon as that happens to Guts, he mentally, even though he wasn't the most hopeful, idealistic child, after that particular attack happens to him, he becomes so distant mentally, and he's not speaking as much or anything. But the art really expresses what's going through Guts' head most of the time. And it doesn't even really go into a heavy revenge thing with Guts trying to get back at his rapist. He does in the book. I won't tell you too much about how, and I don't think it was enough, to be honest with you. But it doesn't really go down that path as much. It just kind of has it real quick. And then we go back to Guts working in the army for that big boss. And even though Guts becomes distant, it begins to be the thing that happened to him that makes him what he eventually became in the earlier parts of the volumes. It's not there yet, though, so I'm like, I don't know what else is going to happen to this poor guy. But the gore is there, the blood is there, there's a ton of that in here. We get like 3 or 4 or 5 years of coverage, I think, of Guts growing up and like having to leave that army after something else happens. We also eventually get Guts running into Griffith for the first time as a young man. That's not a heavy spoiler. I think a lot of people know that about this book. If you're watching these Berserk reviews, you probably already know that. That's why I don't know why I don't go into spoilers more, because people are not going to be watching these if they haven't gotten into spoilers. But we do have the experience of when Griffith and Guts met each other for the first time. There's a female character in there too later on that I think something's probably going to happen with her emotionally in the book. Maybe a love story. I don't know. I'll be curious. But Berserk keeps you on your toes, so there's a good chance that might not happen. But Guts really, to me, got so much development in this book that Volume 3 gave him as well. But in this flashback stuff, I did not expect the shit I saw in here. I love this series. It's amazing. I wish they were a lot cheaper. I wish it was easier to get your hands on cheaper copies. But this is a highlight, man. This is a highlight of a book. It is so good for what it is. It's not as action-packed as the previous volumes, but there is a lot of battle stuff. It being dark fantasy, that might appeal to you a lot. It did to me. But this is a very character-driven piece on this particular volume, and I thought that was cool. I heard that this is supposed to be that way for the next couple of volumes. I'm excited about that. But, yeah, I don't really have much more to say. This was horrific. It was a horrific ride to Tennessee when I read this book, and I was absolutely in utter shock for like the next hour and a half on the time driving over there while my wife drove. Yeah, great read. The series is great. I recommend it like always in case you haven't read it before and you want to try it out. It's totally worth your time. Maybe not worth $15, $16 because it moves so quick, dude. You're going to be so hooked on this, it's just going to zoom by. But really good read. Definitely a big recommendation. Check it out if you haven't read Berserk before. But you shouldn't be listening to these reviews if you haven't already checked it out before. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. What do you think about everything that happened in this book? What was your most disgusted part out of all the horrific shit that happened in here? It had a lot of heart, man, and it really got to me. So let me know all that down below. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.